Now, I think I used a 1/4 yard. This is why you need to do the calculation as you're cutting the fabric. That way you know how much you really used. Because now I'm going by memory, and that is not a good thing. How much did it cost you to make that bag? Guys, that is a question we all should be able to answer. Because when we make these beautiful things, bags, home accessories, whatever it is that we make, somebody's going to ask you, oh wow, did you make that? Or somebody will say, wow, that's so pretty, and you're going to say, I made it. And then they're going to be like, oh, can you make me one? And that's when you're going to be like, yeah, but I don't even know how much to charge you because I don't know how much it cost me to make. And you always need to know your cost, whether this is a hobby or you're trying to, sell it and make some money out of it. You always need to know how much you're spending on making each item so that you know if you're staying marketable or, you can add a markup and be able to sell it. Or if you're like, oh, well, maybe not. I spent too much money on this. The fabric was too expensive. I'm not sourcing my products in a way that I can actually pay less and have the same quality. Those are things you need to think about. This is not a video to tell you how to price your product. That is something that you need to feel comfortable with charging, and you need to do your market research and all of that. I just want to share with you how I come up with my base cost, my foundation, my starting point. Okay? What I do, it's very simple. In a spreadsheet, I literally just calculate each item and come up with my cost per item. So I'm going to calculate the cost for making this laptop bag. As you can see, I already started. I already cut the fabric. You kind of want to do that before you cut the fabric to make sure that it is something that it's profitable if you want to sell it in the future. Also, I will share with you how I priced these kitchen towel toppers. So let me share the screen with you. Here's my spreadsheet. It's very simple. I added here the tab. It's called laptop bag, and I put the materials, the price per yard, and of course this is going to be different depending on what you're using, the amount that I used, and the total. So for example, this beautiful green vinyl here, gorgeous, right? It's called Ultra Smooth or something like that. It cost me $19.50 for half a yard. Not even a full yard, a half a yard. Okay. And when I was making the bag, I actually ran out of fabric. This bag requires more than half a yard of material. But after I cut the fabric, I realized I still had like a little bit left over, like maybe a 1/4 yard left over. So I put 0.75 here because that will be 3/4 of a yard because I still had a little bit left over. So when I do my calculation is the 3/4 of a yard, so 0.75 times the amount that I spent on that half a yard, and it gives me the total, $14.63. Then I have my laminated quilting cotton, which is this right here. And that was $8.95 for half a yard too. Good Lord. Yes, for half a yard. Same thing. I was going to use less. This was going to be like maybe 5/8 of a yard, but it ended up being 3/4 of a yard because I had to use some of the fabric because I ran out of the vinyl. So same formula, right? This times this. Interfacing. I use my weft interfacing from Fabric Wholesale Direct, and I highly recommend them. I'm not an affiliate, but they sell the weft woven interfacing by the yard, but it's 60 inches wide. So you get a lot more for your money. Plus, it's $3.99 a yard. So you can't beat that. Now, I think I used a 1/4 yard. Again, I should have done this. This is why you need to do the calculation as you're cutting the fabric. That way you know how much you really used. Because now I'm going by memory, and that is not a good thing. But based on where the interfacing that I used the interfacing for my quilting cotton and some of the handles, etc. So I think I did not use more than a 1/4 yard. I really don't think I did. So that is $1. The waterproof canvas, that is what I use for my lining, and yes, it's all in there. Waterproof canvas, again, is also 16 inches wide, so you tend to use less of a yardage because you have more width, right? And so I used about half a yard. And so I buy it also from Fabric Wholesale Direct for $8.99. Foam. My foam stabilizer or foam interfacing, I purchased this years ago from Amazon actually, and I bought it like a big bulk. It was like, I don't know, 15 yards or something like that, also 60 inches wide, Bosal. And I'll put the link in the description for all of these so you can find them. I mean, it's probably not the same price that I paid for it 5-6 years ago, but it's still better than what it is now if you buy retail. But it ended up being about $10 a yard. And again, it's 60 inches wide. And I used about, what is this, 0.375? Let me get my cheat sheet. Yeah, 3/8. I ended up using about 3/8 of a yard. And I say 3/8 because I know it wasn't half a yard, but it wasn't a 1/4 either. So that's my middle point. I'm okay with that. Now, zipper by the yard. I also buy the zipper by the yard in the long 10 inches. 10 inches, good. I keep saying that. 10 yard roll. And so when I get the 10 yard roll, I divide that, that's 10 yards. A yard is 36 inches. So 10 yards is 360 inches, right? So what I do is that I take the cost of my 10 yards divided by 360, and I put that cost here. That's by inch. Okay, because when you're cutting your zipper for your bags, it always tells you cut 19 inches, 20 inches, blah, 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 so many inches. So I calculated by the inch and not by the yard. Some other bag makers may do the yardage, but I do inches. And for this bag, it was 39 inches, so $1.87. So in materials, fabric, I spent $32.48. That doesn't include the hardware. So my hardware, this is optional, but I like them, and they're only 40 cents each for a set of rivets. The set is the top and the bottom. And for this bag, we need 4. So they're only 48 cents each set. So it's $1.92. The snap, this is the magnetic snap actually, not just, this is magnetic snaps. And again, I bought these like a set of like 100, and they were $17 or something like that. So it was 17 cents for a set, so front and back of the snaps. So only 17 cents. And the D-rings, 2 of those, and they were 73 cents each. And again, if you buy 10 and it was $10, then that's $1 each. If you buy 20, if you buy a set that it comes 50 of them and it costs you $25, you are actually paying 50 cents per each, because you take the $25 and you divide it by 50, and that's 50 cents for each item. So that's how you come up with your unit cost. So this is actually unit cost, not yardage. Okay, so that's what we're going to change that here. As you can see, I'm working this. Okay, and then unit, each, then the total, right? So let's do that. Let's center this and make it bold. Okay, perfect. So in hardware, or you want to call it hardware, Notions, whatever, it's total $3.55. Now you notice I don't have a tag for with my brand. That you will include that in there if you have one. Any other little thing that goes extra on the bag, you will include it here. Now, a strap already made. I had to buy a strap. Now, did I have to buy it? Probably not. The reason why I bought a strap for this bag is because I ran out of fabric, both vinyl and laminated, so I couldn't make a strap, and I didn't want to make it out of waterproof canvas. So anyway, I could have bought the webbing, and because I'm sure I have some swivel hooks and sliders and things in here, but I don't know, I just decided I wanted to buy the strap, and so I bought the strap. So that probably increased the cost for me a lot. If you make your own straps, you will save money. So, but it was $8.59. So I do have to include that in the cost, that what it costs me to make this bag. Now, if somebody else asks me to make this bag for them, I will make the strap myself, and that will help, lower this cost. And I will not purchase a fabric that is $19.50 for half a yard to make this. Okay, so this is why we're doing this exercise, so that after you run the numbers, you realize I could save money by making my own strap. I shouldn't be using a vinyl that costs this much to make this bag. Those kind of things. So that's why this exercise is so important. Next, we have the total. So the total of my 32, $3.55, and $8.59 was $44.62. This is how much it cost me to make this bag. $44.62. Now, if I want to sell this bag, I need to do a little markup here. And say we do 50% markup. Now, a lot of you probably are going to be like, say we do 50% markup. I can already hear a lot of people saying, oh, you're crazy, 50%. Oh, no. Let me tell you something. I went to college and I have my bachelor's in fashion, marketing, and merchandising. And I had to study a lot of brands, and we had to come up with a collection and price the collection and everything. And a lot of these companies, their minimum markup is 1,000%. 1,000%. You heard me right. So 50% markup for something that is one of a kind, you only made one or two of each, that's nothing. I'm sorry, that's nothing. And look at it, even with the 50% markup, that's $22 more, right? Because I take my 50%, I take my calculation here, so I multiply the percentage by the total, and it gives me the amount, and then it adds it up. Even with the markup, this bag, I can charge $66.93 for it. So I can do $66.99, or something like that. I think it's doable. I've seen other bags similar to this one for a lot more. However, I have not included in here the time that it took me to make it. So say I really want to sell this bag. A friend of mine asked me for it, and you don't really want to charge them too much. Maybe you want to do the $66. But if you're putting this on a website and selling it to the world, you need to include how much it took you to make. And this production time, it's subjective to what you think your time is worth. How long did it really take you? I put 2 hours here. It's probably taking me longer than that, but it's an example. I say $25 an hour. That's the going rate nowadays for anybody. Now, sewing, people probably pay less, but I'm not just sewing it. I'm like this. I came up with the fabric. I'm doing the marketing. I do everything. So a little bit more. So maybe a couple of hours, $50 to make this bag. Okay. Then if I have to ship it, here comes the handling, which the handling is the little box, the little tissue, the little business card, whatever it is that you are using to package this bag and send it. That's your handling. I say $2. I don't really know. Right now, I cannot tell you. It could be more. But now shipping, that is something that the USPS, UPS, FedEx, whomever you use to ship will charge you. So you need to make sure that this is included in your cost. If you are charging for free shipping, if you're not charging for shipping, you need to include the shipping cost in your price, okay? But if you are not, if the person is paying the shipping on top of the cost, then you don't include that in there, but you include the $2. See what I'm saying? Okay, so this number right here, this $94, let me see what this number is D18 plus D22. Okay, D18 plus D22. Okay, so this number is just the cost plus my labor. That's it. So if I don't want to mark up my product and I just want to charge the person for how much it cost me to make in materials and how long it took me to make, I need to charge at least $94.62. But if I want to charge for everything, the markup and my time, it's $116.93 to make this bag. Would somebody pay for it? Possibly. Do I feel comfortable charging that much? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. Now, the thing is that you have your markup here, I have 50%. You want to leave that 50%. You want to, if you're charging, you want to have a little bit of markup. That way you can, if you decide to do a sale and decide to give somebody 20% off, 10% off, you can actually do that and still make money. And we're not going to go over that right now. There are, like I said, other formulas, other people that sell spreadsheets, and there are softwares that help you do that. But this will help you, because then you know, okay, I cannot make it less than $94. Like, I cannot sell this. If my discount is less than with the discount, the person pays less than $94, I'm losing money. And I'm really losing money if they only pay $45 for it. If they're only paying $45. So that is something to think about. Next, if you want to price anything else that is not a bag, like if I want to price these beautiful kitchen towel toppers, that I made for Valentine's. We can, of course, use the same formula. What I did is that I just created a new tab and I copy and pasted this formula to this new tab. And here, you leave everything the same. If you don't use that material, then you put 0 and that's it. The towels I source, I go around looking for sales. If after Christmas I buy towels, after Valentine's, after each holiday, because those you can always use for the next year. So, and with one towel, you make 2 kitchen towel toppers. So you can make a set with only 1 towel. So let's say that on average, I pay $2 for 1 towel. So that's it, that's $2. The fabric that I'm using, you want to put in here the actual price, not what you paid for it, but what it cost, the retail price. If you paid less, good for you, but this is what you're going to put in here because you never know if you're going to have the same sale later, if you're going to have the same coupon, or if in the future the prices go up so much that that's the actual price you pay with a coupon or on sale. Okay, for these I think I used a little bit less than a 1/4 yard, like a fat quarter will do. So a 1/4 yard to be generous. And the same for the interfacing because I have to interface each piece. The rest we don't use. So it's $5.50 just to make the towel toppers, the kitchen towel toppers. Then you have the accessories or hardware and no rivets. You will use the plastic snaps or fashion snaps, and those come in a set, and the plastic ones are 5 cents for a set. And I use 2, right? Because I have 2 kitchen towel toppers. And no D-rings or anything else. That's it. That's all this needs. So in hardware, I spend 10 cents. My total is $5.60 that I spent making 2 kitchen towel toppers. Now, I want to mark it up, right? A little bit. So I did a 25% markup. And that put it at $6.99. I think $6.99 for 2 kitchen towel toppers is a deal because I have seen them in Etsy and Amazon, everywhere. And they don't go under $10 for 1. If you want 2, you pay $20. So I said, well, okay. So I can actually charge for my time. So I say, well, this is not very difficult to make. This is a beginner project. I say $20 an hour. It's all right. And it took me about half an hour to make. I could probably, I think half an hour if I just focus on just making those and nothing else. So that's about $10 on labor, which gave me the total of $16.99. And I said, you know what? That's competitive. I am marketable if I do 2 for $16.99. That's a good price. And I feel confident that I'm making a little bit of money. I'm getting paid for my time. Because this little bit of money and this time is the overhead. That's what covers the electricity, the needles for the machine, the thread, all of that. All that is not included in here. Of course, that doesn't include shipping and handling. So you want to make sure that that is part of your cost, or that the person who's buying the product pays for that. So that's up to you. Use this process for any of the bags that you're making. That way you know for a fact how much you're really spending. If you want me to go over other videos like this one, let me know that in the comments. And if you want me to price something else, I'll be more than happy to do that. I will have the video tutorial for this laptop bag next week. So if you're watching this video after next week, the link is down in the description for the video tutorial. and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.